Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam Show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam Show. Turn it up.
What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for episode 624 of the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. We are live and in living color, getting funky like a monkey, if you will. We are 2 weeks away from the 12-year anniversary show. And I revealed who's going to be the feature for the 12-year anniversary show last week to the patrons. And so I'm going to reveal it to you today. None other than former WWE star, Puerto Rican sensation. And you saw him make his WWE, make a short WWE comeback during the Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest match. Of course, he is Savio Vega. So that is going to be featured here in 2 weeks on the Pancakes and Powerslams Show, celebrating 12 years with us, and he's going to be at your leisure, at your service for a Q&A session, and it's going to be fun as always here on the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. So let's talk about some stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about some stuff. All right, let me bring up an article. I'm all about, as a journalist, I'm all about giving people their due credit, because this was actually really, really good. So kudos to Front Office Sports, man. This was fantastic. Very good journalism here. And so this was written on March the 12th. So it was actually last Tuesday, exactly last Tuesday. So this was an exclusive from them. So I'm going to share this on the screen. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe we'll do one of these gimmicks. Yeah, I think that's better like that. All right, so here we go. WWE President Nick Khan, COO Brad Bloom revealed as key figures in Vince McMahon's sex trafficking lawsuit. So that is two of the people revealed. So in January, Vince McMahon resigned from his position with TKO, the parent company of WWE. A former WWE employee levied serious allegations and a sex trafficking lawsuit filed against them. The company and another former WWE exec. Now, more previously unreported details about the lawsuit have been uncovered in an exclusive story by Front Office Sports new director of Feature News Tim Marchman, along with wrestling reporters Brandon Thurston and John Pollock. This is the type of important journalism that FOS readers can expect moving forward. Nice plug for themselves. They deserve it with this type of journalism, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so this is what they found. They found that WWE President Nick Khan, a deal maker and former CAA executive who was under reputation as one of the most powerful man in sports media, and CEO Brad Bloom are the previously unnamed man identified as corporate officers 1 and 2 in the lawsuit filed by Janel Grant in January. All right. Khan and Bloom are not personally accused of sexual misconduct or violence or of knowing of any acts. Rather, the suit claims that they and others facilitated and covered up. You see that? The suit claims that they and others facilitated and covered up Grant's exploitation and were instrumental to a scheme in which McMahon arranged for Grant to be employed, quote, in a completely defined role, except for the understanding that she remained a sexual slave to be used and trafficked by McMahon within the WWE. Of course, McMahon said the allegations were, quote, baseless and that he intends to vigorously defend himself. So that highlighted is something very important to park at for a second. All right. So we know the lawsuit within Janel Grant. We know what it's all about. We know the goings on. We know the details about it. And so they were able to find out there were 4 executives named. There were 4 corporate officers that were unnamed. And so the first and the second one were, of course, President Nick Khan. I'm saying, of course, because we know who Nick Khan is. He's the president. And the COO, Brad Bloom. All right. So this is what the suit claims. So now, since we know who number 1 and number 2 in the lawsuit is per Front Office Sports exclusive, the suit claims that Nick Khan, based on finding out who they are, Nick Khan and Bloom, the suit claims that they and others facilitated and covered up Grant's exploitation and were instrumental to a scheme in which McMahon arranged for Grant to be employed in a completely undefined role, except for the understanding that she remained a sexual slave to be used and trafficked by McMahon within the WWE. So for those who they expand on this a little bit more on law and crime. As a matter of fact, let's I'm actually going to bring that up here. Yeah, because I think that it's important to bring that up because that's really important too. I'm going to basically have them. Let's see here. So we want to do this for now, and we want to bring this up too, so you can hear them talking about a little bit more. So I'm going to play that too, just so you can hear a little bit more details about that here in a minute. So they were talking about how there was they just brought her in a role. So it was only like $75,000, and initially that was the role. And so then they wanted to bump her up. They wanted to keep her. So that's what they were talking about here in the interview. Thurston and Pollock with the Law and Crime Network. And so they were also talking about how, like, they, as long as they kept her, they were thinking about bumping her up to like a VP role, with talent relations or something like that. So that's the reason why she was like starting to affiliate herself with John Laurinaitis, which, of course, we know that Laurinaitis was another person mentioned that was, in the allegations of this, as far as being a part of it. And so they kind of held back on bumping her up from a $75,000 a year role to a $200,000 a year role because, it really wouldn't have looked good from a corporate standpoint because the role wasn't really a thing anyways. They just wanted her to be there. And then allegedly they were paying her $75,000 a year for her to be their sex slave, essentially. So she was down on her luck. She was down in the dumps. She was going through a lot of stuff family wise. There was some crises going on as far as the family. And so it was a lot of situations that was very difficult in her life. And she was offered the job. There was a friend who knew Vince, and there was some type of putting together of Vince and her, and then end up her getting a job, getting paid that amount, and then getting potentially bumped up to higher pay. And so let's go to this. Let's go to this one here. So the other person, this one right here, the person identified in the suit as corporate officer number 3 is none other than so let's even do this. Grant, according to the suit, listed Khan and Bloom among people who knew enough about her relationship that the role should have been addressed in an NDA during the negotiations over its drafting. So Khan and Bloom they were among people who knew enough about her relationship. So according to Grant's, they were familiar with what was going on. So they weren't totally, unaware of the allegations. As of now, there's still allegations of what Vince McMahon was doing to her. So someone else who knew, allegedly, was corporate officer number 3, which was Stephanie McMahon. And so Grant described Stephanie as knowing of, quote, other instances of Vince McMahon, engaging in inappropriate sexual conduct. So they front office sports reached out to Stephanie and she didn't respond. So Stephanie McMahon, according to Janel Grant, she was aware of what is going on. Does that mean she had anything to do with it? No, there's no allegations of her being a part of it or having anything to do with it. Her thing, according to Janel Grant, is she knew of it, and she knew of other stuff that was going. She knew of other shady stuff that was going on within the WWE as well. So, of course, she stepped down. She resigned from her position before Vince retired, and then when Vince retired, and then she came back. And it's crazy because there's so many things that can come from this, as far as like, okay, so did Stephanie know and want to separate herself because she didn't approve of it? Just because she knew doesn't mean that she was a part of it or had anything to do with it. There could be the criticism of, okay, she was, basically, she shouldn't have been keeping things on the hush. Like if she knew of stuff, she should be reporting them, or she should somehow people should know about this if this is dealing with this type of using her as a, quote, sex slave. So did she know and decide to leave the company? Was that one of the reasons why she decided to surprisingly resign? People didn't really know why. There were rumors of why, but this wasn't one of them, as far as just like her possibly knowing. And Janelle even said that she knowing about some things. Did that cause Stephanie to say, okay, I'm out? I can't deal with this type of stuff anymore that Vince McMahon that my father's doing within the office, within the, corporate space, within the professional space. He's doing this at work. He's doing all these things. Yes, there's a personal life, but then, this is a professional life. You're doing this professionally. I'm out. I'm going to go. I'm going to bow out, because this is unprofessional. This is unacceptable. Now, that could be one scenario. Another scenario is because even with that scenario, Vince ended up, with the whole NDA stuff that started back, a few years back, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. Vince McMahon, because all the stuff was coming, and it was coming like a swarm, he ended up resigning. Guess who came back? Stephanie. So Stephanie leaves, Vince resigns, Stephanie comes back, and then Vince says, "Oh, I'm invincible, basically. I'm going to come back." He came back. Stephanie resigned again. So something was going on there that Stephanie didn't want to be in the midst of. Could it be this? Could it be Janel saying that she knew things? Could Stephanie know things and instead of saying something, wanting to go away? Did she know of some things? This could be tied together, which is just very, very interesting information there. So let's go to the YouTube interview with them, and I'm gonna let them. I'm just gonna show you a clip of it because it was like 15 minutes or so. I'm not gonna play all of it. Let's see. Let's go to let's see. Let me know if you can hear that. Let me know if you can hear the information. I don't have to. I'll have to turn on the value. Let me know if you can hear it at all. Let me know if you can hear it at all. PMP Nation, let me know if you can hear this. Can you hear this value? If not, it actually helps me because let me see if you can hear it. Okay, good. Can't hear it. Good. Good. All right. Let's go to trying to figure out where to go. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the Nick Khan. Yeah. All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm about to play a little snippet of this. Little snippet. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. That's Brandon Thurston.
It's a sex trafficking scheme to keep that going along.
And we've made that clear earlier in the show that we are not saying that any of these people
should be able to
took part in any of the abuse of Janel Grant or what she alleges. They're accused of being part of a cover-up. So Nick Khan also was a part, according to Janel Grant, of fashioning this NDA and this agreement where she would leave the company. She was supposed to be paid $3 million. We know she didn't get all of the money. So what does this mean for Nick Khan? Let's say this turns out to all be true. What does this mean for Nick Khan, for Brad Blum? They're still with the company. What does this mean for them in the future of WWE?
I think
I
think you're getting into territory where a lot of the complaint is communication that was relayed from Vince McMahon to Janel Grant. A number of instances that infer his conversations with Nick Khan and Brad Blum. So I think that you would need to substantiate that this was Vince McMahon being truthful in these conversations and what he told Janel Grant and how involved Nick Khan and Brad Blum were privy to some of the facts and what was going on and orchestrating this. And then, kind of the confidence that these are two individuals that are still in very high, prominent leadership positions. And are they are they prepared that they can handle situations such as this if they were to arise? We don't have a Vince McMahon figure anymore in the company, but this is still something that you are fostering a corporate culture that there needs to be checks and balances. And if there is some kind of grand grievance to this, there has to be people that can step in and stop this from happening.
So that's a good point there. I think it's important to understand, like, these people are still prominent figures in the WWE at this point. And so how much, since they did reveal that they are two, I mean, Stephanie's not there anymore, but Khan and Bloom are two of the biggest executives in the WWE. So Khan being the president, Bloom being the COO, but at the end of the day, that's still under the umbrella of Endeavor, which TKO is a part of, which The Rock's a board member, but Rock and Khan are really good friends. This is still like a lot in this here, because when you think of like Ari Emanuel, who's cool, had a distant relationship with Vince, but now they've even talked about an Endeavor, like, yeah, we don't talk to Vince. And so it's interesting because of this, that there's a lot of like relationships within all of this too. Like Khan, do you let go of Khan? That means they don't have the president. Do you hire from within and have someone from TKO? Does The Rock become the president of the WWE? Do you even do something like that? Like, since he's a board member, is it a conflict if he does that? But a lot of times, I mean, there's times that it's necessarily not. So it's a lot of just kind of loose ends that are still there. That it's really interesting. I'm going to play the rest of this, and I'm going to get to the question, Cam.
I think at the core of this complaint from Janel Grant is her stating that if those structures were in place, I would have had some protections. I had none. I had no one to go to. And did this go so unchecked, this power that Vince McMahon had, that even these executives that had high-ranking positions, did they feel that they could do anything without threatening their own job title?
Yeah.
Here's one thing you need to do before you
buy. Unnecessary advertisement. That's all we need. All right. Yeah. So, of course, this is still pending, man. So there's still a lot going on there, and there's still a lot to be determined when it comes to this thing. So one thing we do know is that it would be really important as these allegations continue to be a part of this case here. If Khan and Bloom are indeed corporate officer 1 and corporate officer 2, and there's admission, of course you can't lie under oath. You can, but it's perjury, so you don't want to do that. And so if they tell the truth and they are a part of it, does that affect their particular roles in the company? So there's a lot going on here that's is worth continuing to follow and dig in. So we shall see, because Vince McMahon left, Stephanie's gone, Vince McMahon resigned because of all this. So does that mean Nick Khan's going to resign? And if Nick Khan resigns, does that mean that Triple H or The Rock or, someone like that would be the president of the WWE? We shall see, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see. Until then, one thing that we are going to see is that it is, what time is it? Oh, it is time for the question, Cam. There we go. Let's see. Let's do this. What questions do we have for today? Right. The People's Wrestling Channel. What did you think of The Rock bringing back his Hollywood theme? The pop he got for a while, just simply electrifying. So, what I think about it, that's something I've been tweeting about for weeks. I said that he should go back to his Hollywood Rock theme. When he did come back to his Hollywood Rock theme, I had to rewind it a couple times because I was like, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing about pro wrestling, in my world, at least, personally, in my world. Now, I get paid to watch pro wrestling. It's an absolute blessing. It's an absolute beautiful thing that I get paid to watch and talk about pro wrestling. Like, come on. Like, are you kidding? Like, there's people who dream to be in my position, and I am incredibly blessed by it. That's the reason why you will catch me complain about the WWE quite a bit, because I think the product is a lot to be desired. But will you hear me complain about my job as in PNP, as a commentator, as a pro wrestling commentator? No, absolutely not, because I love this. I love what I do. I love the fact that I get paid to talk about wrestling. I have patrons here that are treating me well. I get paid, I get treated very well at Sportskeeda. So, I mean, I will never complain about this. This is absolutely amazing. But my overall view on pro wrestling is very low, and it has been for a while, because I've just been very disinterested, and I get paid to complain about that, which is an absolute amazing blessing. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I definitely think that it's an absolute blessing to be a part of, and I think that at this point, pro wrestling is cool again with The Rock there. I absolutely agree. I think that pro wrestling is cool again with The Rock there. I think he's right. I think it's not just a cliche. I think it's 100% authentic truth, ladies and gentlemen, authentic truth, that pro wrestling is cool again with The Rock there. I think this persona, this might not have been originally in the books, but The Rock knows how to improvise in order to maximize. And he has done it, and he's done it well. He's done it. He's taken control of WrestleMania season, and he's taken it by force, and he's done a fantastic job at it. And I think at the end of the day, The Rock has made pro wrestling cool again. And here's a crazy thing, man. He's such a pro as what he's doing. He's doing it exceptionally well. And The Rock has caused me to make more commentary on pro wrestling, to tweet more about pro wrestling, because here's the funny thing: a lot of my Twitter, my X, it was just reposting stuff that people would tag me, and that was most of my Twitter account was mostly that. I mean, because I just didn't really care enough to watch a wrestling show and comment about it. But now I'm making more comments. I'm doing more commentary. A lot of people are tagging me and asking me questions, and I like the interaction. It's fun. You can do that yourself at Chris Prolific over there. But yeah, it's fun. I like the interaction, and so it's been really fun. This season of pro wrestling, there's a good chance that I might not do this in a few months, because I might fade. My answers may fade again, but I will say that now, more than a long time, several years, I think pro wrestling has become, well, WWE. I'll make it very clear. I'm not going to say pro wrestling in general. I'm going to say WWE, the WWE feel, because the product is still a lot to be desired, but the energy that's coming along with WWE as of late with The Rock, specifically on SmackDown, not necessarily Raw, but specifically on SmackDown. It's been really, really good. Would you say I'm an outcast for dressing as Reigns at the wrestling convention I went to? Would you say I'm an outcast? What do you mean, like a mark or like a misfit or something like that? Is that what you mean? Let me know what you mean. The Rock is so cool. People are going to cheer for him over Cody. Do you agree? No, I don't, because the fans still, well, not the fans outside of the bubble, not the people that you'll hear, not necessarily the people watching, but the people that you'll hear would want will be cheering for Cody Reigns just because his song is infectious. And I mean, you know, Cody Rhodes, you know, he's a Rhodes. He's bust his butt to get where he's at. I think he's miscast. I do think that he doesn't have that larger than life feel. I don't know necessarily if that's a WWE thing, just kind of not booking him that strongly, or if that's a Cody Rhodes thing that he's just kind of one-dimensional in many ways. I mean, because he really is in many ways. He just kind of does his he does this arm spreading gimmick with the pyro. He wears his suits. He comes out. The fan sings to a song. He pulls the mic out. He says, "What do you want to talk about?" He cuts a promo. Maybe someone interferes. Maybe someone doesn't, and that's it. I mean, he does. He doesn't have any layers to his gimmick, and I think that's from an outside standpoint, as someone who's been watching wrestling for a long time, that's why I'm not personally a huge Cody fan. I've said this plenty of times, man. I was a Cody Rhodes apologist in AEW. I defended Cody Rhodes quite a bit in many of my podcasts because I just didn't get the fact why people were booing Cody Rhodes so much. I was like, wait a minute, this is the same person who's like putting over who put over Darby Allin, who put over Brody Lee, who put over Malachi Black, who put over MJF, who put over daggone Anthony Ogogo, and for a hot moment made QT Marshall, relevant in AEW. And so he kept going on and on and on, putting himself behind, putting himself on the back burner to make stars. So to this day, you won't catch me not defending Cody Rhodes when it comes to AEW, because I think that he was a pro. He was very selfless. He was very giving when it came to AEW, and I stand by that. When it comes to WWE, I mean, he's only lost twice since he's been there. He came 2 years ago. He was, granted, he was gone for quite a bit because of his injury, but he's been back full time since January of last year. So he's been back for nearly 15 months. So he's been back for about 14 months now. So 14 months being back, he's lost twice. So definitely not giving, but it's not his company either, because so got to be fair there. It's not his company, so he can't really have a lot of say in being giving. But at the same time, like, it's still the same Cody Rhodes. It's the same gimmick. It's the same thing. It's just no layers to it. That's the reason why but the fans, when they have their just attention set on cheering for someone, it is going to happen no matter what. And they're going to be sure that this person wins the title. Why? Because they chose them, and so they're going to make it happen. That's how fans think. That's how wrestling fans think. And as soon as, like, maybe not as soon, but not too far from Cody getting to the point of winning, because I think he will be Roman Reigns. I think they're going to turn on him. Av is in the building. What's up? Savio Vegas. What's up, Derek? Savio Vegas often overlooked, but I thought he was great. Definitely Hall of Fame worthy. I like that. Rorito, where can we find this info that you showed about the Janet Grant thing? Oh, I just did. So there you go. I just pulled it up for you. So this was before I pulled it up. So yeah, that Law and Crime Network and then Front Office Sports are the two hat tricks or HT sources there. Do you think? Oh, that's a good question. I think Shane knew. Probably, if anything, not to the. He knows his dad, though. He knows his dad. I mean, maybe not in grave detail, but Shane wasn't really around over the past 3 years, though. He just made the Royal Rumble appearance, and then reportedly rubbed people the wrong way. They wanted to bring him in for an angle, but he didn't come back. But he did come back with that Miz spot and got injured. You know what I mean? So he's been in and out. I mean, he hasn't worked as a WWE, backstage person in a long time. So who do I believe knew everything? I mean, well, they're all allegations, and so there's really nothing to know now other than what Janel is alleging. So she's alleging that, of course, Vince McMahon knew everything because she's alleging that he's the culprit. But as far as who knew everything, I mean, she's alleging that these corporate executives knew something. So collectively, maybe they knew everything. And were they talking to each other? Were there conversations to try to protect Vince? All of that is up in the air right now. Do I believe that Linda is still together with Vince? I believe that there's been talks for a long time that they've been separated. So we've even seen Vince. I mean, TMZ has covered before of him going on a date with his mistress. And so, yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like they are living with each other. Do I think Stephanie knew about the Asa Mazzaro situation? Ooh, that's a good question. Do I think that she knew? I can't in good conscience say completely no. I just can't in good conscience. That's just my opinion. By no means if am I saying that she did. I don't know. I don't know if she did, but it's just hard. I mean, like I'll just say this, from a business executive standpoint, saying that you don't know these things that happens, it's really hard for me to believe that you don't know anything. And so to the if she knew anything, to the capacity of what she knew, I don't know if she knew anything, but it's hard to say that executives don't know anything about the inner workings of other executives on that type of level, on the top of echelon. Do you think if Vince would have paid the money to Miss Grant, she would have kept quiet? I think so. Well, there was an NDA. I mean, she had to keep quiet. There was an NDA, so she wasn't allowed to. She would have breached it. So the only reason why she's saying anything now is because the NDA was breached. If she would have had the money paid, she wouldn't have been allowed to breach it. So none of this would have came out if the money wasn't paid. None of this would have came out if the money was paid. So that's how we get all this. Can Asa Mazzaro family do a lawsuit now in WWE regarding what happened with her? I mean, sure, if they want to. Yeah, I mean, they can do a civil lawsuit. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's enough evidence to prove anything criminally, but as far as pain and suffering and damages and things like that, unfortunately she committed suicide, so you've got friends and things like that saying that she kept telling them these things and it was kept being on her mind. And I know, there's been people that's said publicly about Ashley and knowing her and things like that. So, sure. I mean, anybody could sue anybody. It's just that, sometimes lawsuits are really stupid because you're spending a lot of your money paying for attorney fees to get nothing back. So, when is Netflix coming out with the Vince documentary, and do you think they will edit some of this stuff out to make Vince look like the good guy? I don't think that they'll make Vince look like the good guy. I do think that a documentary will probably come out before the end of the year. So, 1,298 days for Reigns is now 2 days from 1,300. Again, I will not count that. It's an asterisk because he has been Universal Champion. I'll give you that. I'll give you the Universal Champion, which is now like kind of defunct because it's been merged. And so he has not been WWE Champion for that day. So if you're saying that he's been champion US, so if you said he's been WWE Champion for nearly 13 days, you would be absolutely wrong. You'd be absolutely wrong. Friday evening, night, 2 people slashed my tires in the police department as of the last few days have been giving me the runaround. Elvis, man, why do you come with this bad news all the time? You're like Bad News Martinez. This sucks, man. Sorry to hear that. Daggone it. I pray that things go the way that you want it with this, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Someone would slash your tires, all of your tires. That's ridiculous. You live in Colorado, right? What in the world is WWE doing Bobby Lashley? He should have a title. They are realizing that he is absolute jacked and he's amazing, and he should be a top guy, but we don't have anything to do with them, so we're deciding him to put him with Street Profits. And we're deciding to have him be in a feud with Karrion Kross, who's been irrelevant for a long time, and that's not his fault, by the way. If The Rock becomes president in WWE, does that give him even more power? Nah, I mean, that's like saying Trump can fire someone from WWE. That's not how the presidency work. Do I have a favorite team in the NCAA men's basketball tournament this year? Deanna's asking. I mean, of course, my favorite team is always Duke. I'm a Duke Blue Devil fan. Of course, people know I love Duke. But I don't think they'll win, unfortunately, because they've been soft this year. So you can ask me that 1,000 times, and my answer 1,000 times would be Duke, unless Duke is not in the tournament, and they are this year, and they typically are. Rumors are saying that some fans will riot if Roman wins. Do you see that happening? Yeah, whatever. Let them riot. If they riot, my thing is, like, is it worth getting banned for life from WWE events for rioting for a scripted, pre-planned decision? I mean, like, if you're getting that tripped up and butthurt over over a moment occurring, you don't need to be watching wrestling. You need to be banned for life. Do you see Rock turning on Roman? Do you see Rock turning on Roman, turning on Rock, or vice versa? So when I tweeted this, I do think that, I've said this before in other shows, I think that the Rock and Roman will win night one. The odds will be stacked against Cody. I think you'll have Bloodline interfere. You'll have like Solo's not booked for a match. Jimmy and Jay is okay. I mean, brother Jimmy wins or loses, he can still be involved in the Bloodline storyline. And so what I think is going to happen is I think that The Rock is going to turn on the Bloodline, and he's going to take out Jimmy, take out Solo. He's going to rock bottom Roman Reigns, and Cody's going to beat Roman Reigns. And then he's going to be like, ain't nobody my tribal chief B or something like that, as The Rock would say. And there you go. Just like I said this a lot. I said, guarantee you, fans will be cheering for The Rock at WrestleMania somehow. You want to boo The Rock, you want to say Rocky sucks, you want to get your panties all up in a bunch because The Rock took over Cody Rhodes' spot, which he didn't, because Cody Rhodes is in the main event. So there's really nothing for you to be upset about now. As a matter of fact, because of The Rock, Cody now has 2 main events. So you can thank The Rock, because if The Rock wasn't there, Cody would have just had 1 main event for 1 night. But because The Rock is there, Cody Rhodes now has 2 main events for 2 nights, and one of the main events is against The Rock in the tag match. So you can thank The Rock for causing Cody Rhodes to have even a bigger position at WrestleMania. You're welcome, Cody Rhodes, courtesy of The Rock. Who do you think will win, Jake Paul or Mike Tyson? Ooh, see, I'm really looking forward to watch that just because I'm a Tyson guy. I got to go with Tyson. I think Jake, he's a lot younger than Mike Tyson is. I think by the time the fight happens, Tyson will be 58. So, we're talking like 30-year difference, right? How old is Jake? Probably 28, 29, right? So like 30 years younger than me. Yeah, 27. So he is 30 years younger than Mike Tyson is. So yeah, that's not going to help. That's not going to help my Tyson. That's not going to help my Tyson. When do you see Rock facing Roman? SummerSlam. Do you see Cody winning the belt? Yes, I think he will win. What would be a big money match for the pay-per-view in Saudi? That's a good question. When is the Saudi event? Is that November? Let's see. When is their Saudi event? Saudi. Backlash is in France this year. That's right. I forgot about that. So right now, Bash in Berlin is the last thing they have. I'm saying here that's plugged. Okay, here we go. Sportskeeda wrote an article on the 4th. Near future. Okay. Doesn't seem like there's anything. Mid to late spring 2024 before the company returns. Okay. So it doesn't seem like there's something in stone as far as when. So, yeah. Unless I'm missing something over the past couple of weeks, that what it is. But usually it's in November around so October, November, somewhere around there. Will be a good match. Cody. You could do. You could do Cody Orton. There's some talks of like Cody Orton at SummerSlam. I'm not interested in that, man. I'm just not. They usually do like a one-off type of deal, like kind of throw like 2 big names and make a quick angle out of it. They usually do that. I wouldn't be surprised with like a Cody Orton. I wouldn't be surprised with like a Cody Logan Paul. I wouldn't be surprised with that type of flavor. I can see that. You really don't have many options on the top though, man. You really don't. Because I'm thinking, who do you know? Can you bring back a legend to go against like a Drew? What legend still has it that can still go? That would be a feasible, opponent against Drew McIntyre. That could bring a legendary feel to him. Like who's out there that could come back? Do I see the Hardys going back to WWE? I do. It doesn't seem like they are big fans of AEW with the Sammy Guevara thing going on. And plus, they're being so ridiculous underutilized, anyways. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you're marking out for Roman Reigns in that way, I will say that, yes. Do you see Seth taking a break after WrestleMania? Yes, I do. Do you see Becky Lynch dethroning Rhea? We might see a double turn, man, because I do see Becky winning. Oh, Becky and I think Seth will be gone. I wouldn't be surprised if Becky left too. But you have Rhea, who's going to keep. I mean, at that point, I mean, she won it last Mania, right? When she beat Charlotte. So she would keep it for over a year. There's not a lot of people like on Raw that's worth, feuding with it. The women's division is weak. At least on Raw. We haven't heard a promo about making someone bleed since the Attitude Era. Could TKO be moving away from the PG version? No, I still think that, when there's still shareholders and sponsors and all that stuff. I mean, if you have a sponsor paying for you and wants you to, ease up on the profanity and the blood, I mean, sure. I mean, if you're paying for this, if you're paying for these shows and all this stuff, and I don't have to pay for it and at the expense, you want me to ease up. I mean, I don't use profanity anyway, so that would be a no-brainer for me. And ease up on the blood, sure. Apparently, Shane didn't know, and Vince tried to get him involved. I would like your source on that. I'm not completely disagree. I mean, I'm not completely disowning what you said, but I'm a source guy. Let me know where you get that from. Your thoughts on The Rock completely burying Cody and his fan base on SmackDown. I mean, he's a heel. That's what heels do. I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. What happens if someone breaches an NDA? Do they get sued? Yeah, I mean, if they breach an NDA, they would get sued. They can get sued for several things. Or breach of contract. And so if it's a breach, essentially you're like, okay, look, if we've paid you $1.5 million. And you've breached your NDA, I mean, you need to give that back to us or me, whoever did it. You need to give that back to me. So yeah, that would be in whatever other expenses that comes with that too. So yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to breach an NDA. Thoughts on standards and practice trying to tone down promos? Are you for it or against it? I mean, I'm old school, man. Back in the day, back in the 80s, man, you didn't need to just have like edgy, colorful language. You didn't need that. I mean, that's a knee-jerk type of reaction anyway, so it doesn't really stick much. So, I mean, you can still be creative with, back in when Chris Jericho was a heel about 12 or so years ago, man. Oof, it was probably before that. The sycophants and the troglodytes, that was probably 09 or somewhere around there. It's probably 15 years ago. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, he didn't need to use profanity. It was just he was an amazing heel. Although I like Jericho as a babyface. Jericho's never won a world title as a babyface. Interestingly enough, will you be watching a Bray Wyatt documentary? Of course I will. Of course. Rollins in the building. What's up, Dr. Chris? I was unscripted. I can't stand missing unscripted, but I forgot about it because I was watching basketball channel. By the way, what did you think of Rock's Jay Morant promo? I think that Rock's promos have been hitting, all of them. I think they have been fantastic. The first one the first one was overrated to me, but it wasn't bad. It was a hit. I mean, people just, spoke so highly of it. It was cool. It was cool. But it was good. But it wasn't like whoa. But the sing along, all that was cool. Unscripted was fun. It was so Bill and we interviewed Brian Clark. I've interviewed him several times, and he's a genuinely good dude. Like, he's my guy, man. We've become pretty cool and interact on Facebook quite a bit. Yes, in Colorado, they also put a picture of me from city council on my windshield. So it's political. The police wanted me to pay for the video footage from the cameras of the apartment complex. That's whack. I've already contacted the news. All right, prayers for you. Prayers for you, my man. Do you feel the recent promos made by Cody and Rick Rock, I think you meant, signal WWE getting past the PG era? No. I mean, because they wanted the PG era for everybody else, and so The Rock, who's the board member of TKO, can do whatever he wants to do. No, I don't think so. And again, like, I don't think it's necessary to get past the PG era. Like, promos are still going to be scripted, so using colorful language in it or not, I mean, that's not going to change much. Been reading rumors of possibly MJF showing up in Mania. Mania doesn't need MJF. The Rock is going to make a movie May 1st, August 1st, so him turning on Reigns leads to nothing. It leads to a lot, because he's going to be gone. And he's going to the EFL. So him turning on Reigns is going to lead to Royal SummerSlam. He can still come in, that opportunities, or it can lead to Saudi. I can see Rock turn on Reigns at SummerSlam. No, I think Reigns stays champion for another year. No, you were wishfully thinking. It's that would be horrible, because Roman Reigns has been a very weak champion altogether. I can see Rock turning, but I'm loving heel Rock and Bloodline right now. I'm kind of wanting to see go longer with this. I don't, because I think that the excitement about this is that it's just kind of like, it's just kind of like the feel is that it's going to be short. It's not going to be prolonged. Of course, I'm sure you've heard of the adage, overstaying your welcome. You don't want to overstay your welcome with the heel Rock. I think this is really cool. It's a really good, nuance to his WrestleMania season. But, it's going to get, if you keep doing it, it's going to feel stale, just like the Bloodline has been for quite some time. Do you think they should have a minimum time someone can hold the title? Minimum? No. Yeah, I don't think so. Do I see McGregor going to WWE? In some form or fashion, yeah. I wouldn't mind McGregor versus Sheamus. WWE back in Saudi at the end of May. Okay, so I think maybe you can do Rock Roman at Saudi. There you go. Do you think WWE would you ever do Logan Paul versus Bunny? Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's a money match. Maybe it would be 2 years since Rhea's been unpinned. Wow. It's kind of a sleeper, man. People don't really notice that much. Good for her, though. Great news for her. That's fantastic. Cool for Rhea Ripley. Wait, when she, who does she go at 30, 38? Who does she go against? I forgot who she went against at 38. Wait a minute. What did Ripley do? Oh, been pinned. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, she was yeah, I thought she was in a tag match at Mania a couple years ago. I thought she was with Liv, yeah. But I guess since she's been unpinned. Interesting. How about CM Punk helping Cody win or Dustin shows up. Dustin? No, Dustin's still with AEW. That wouldn't happen. CM Punk, no, he can't. I mean, he's still injured. I would have thought Triple H would have put both Battle Royal matches at Mania. That would have been cool. I mean, but still at the Battle Royal, though, I mean, like, what does it mean? What's the payoff? I mean, who wants to stand next to a trophy and cross their arms? Who cares? Do you think WWE should get away from these long title reigns with everyone? No, I'm old school, man. I don't mind the long title reigns as long as the stories are cool. If you continue to give me a good story behind it, count me in, man. I'm in. I don't mind a long title reign because of that. Mania is severely lacking star power. They got Rock, Reigns, and Logan. Most of the matches are easily B-level pay-per-view type matches. Yeah, it's not really for to be the 40th WrestleMania. It's a bit. Yeah, it's a lot. It's to be desired. Who do I think will help Bayley? Maybe Jade Cargill, because there was a interaction that Jade was looking at Io Sky backstage before, so maybe. But I do think there is a rumor that you could be getting Damage Control, Kabuki Warriors, and Dakota Kai against Naomi, Jade, and Bianca, which I wouldn't be opposed to. Rollin interviewed on Bomb, right? Yep, I watched it later in the event. The power bomb move, in my opinion, I don't know. People were doing power bomb before him. Vader was doing power bomb before him. Sid. In my opinion, the power bomb is the greatest wrestling move in pro wrestling history. It's awesome. It is a pretty awesome move. Rock vs. Reigns surely a Mania match, so WrestleMania 41. Nope, that's going to happen because there's no. It would be too long. It would be too long from now. You strike while the iron's hot. You can't bring back Rock versus Reigns at Mania 41. People are going to be tired. Like, there's really this is where the iron's hot here. This year, like Rock TKO and all that stuff. Like, do it here. If Rock turns on Reigns, does that not overshadow Cody? No, it won't, because Cody's the one who's going to win. That would be the reason Reigns loses, because he finally turned on him. The Rock's going to turn on Roman Reigns. I know that it's hard for you being a mark for both of them, but it's going to happen. The Rock's going to turn on Cody Rhodes. Yeah. So since Mania is in Philly, it's cool that Cody wears the Rocky colors. That is saying something. Yeah, that would be cool. They should have Sly come back to help Sami Zayn, though, because Sami Zayn needs a rub from something, because the fans aren't really liking him that much. All right. PNP Nation, always coming through. Always coming through, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we are heading to the after party. Patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. One of the patrons asked to do a Hall of Fame trivia, Hall of Fame quiz. We're going to do a Hall of Fame quiz, a list of Hall of Famers, and so that's going to be fun. All right, y'all. We're heading over to the after party. Great job, great time as always. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. I asked before, there's a lot of people still on here. As soon as I log off here, everybody who's watching, go leave a comment on the Pancakes and Powerslam Show underneath YouTube. When I close this up, I'm about to close this up in a minute. You're already on here. Just write a comment right underneath, because guess what that's going to do? That's going to boost the algorithm. So for those who are watching right now, and those who will be watching here in the near future, go ahead and write a comment underneath. Not on the live chat. This is amazing. You want to be a part of the live chat, because that's what our fun is. But showing your support, other than paying less than $1 a week for Patreon, which is definitely a way of support. But hey, leave a comment, and that's really going to also support the Pancakes and Power Sam show to continue to bump up those algorithms. So thank you very much for your support every single week. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. See you at the after party. Have a good night. Have a good week. God bless. Solo.